and some amazing technology that is going to open up massive opportunities for the immersive technology landscape. And without further ado, I'm going to have these guys introduce who they are and give us a little background on where you come from and maybe what brought you to this project that is so special. So I think we'll kick things off with Daniel.
Okay, so I am Daniel Greenberg. I lead the project together with the wonderful team, the professional and the executive team. I've been developing technology since the last over 40 years, starting in a computer vision, and then artificial intelligence, complex logic systems, embedded systems, and for the last 12 years, I'm focusing in augmented reality glasses, or more precisely, how to integrate virtual information and contents of all kinds into the real world. And what we are doing, like everybody else, is trying to create the right glasses. Beside that, I'm a professional musician, which gives me for me a very important additional perception of what we are doing, because actually creating music is in many ways creating a reality. And that's about me.
Good. I love that. Like, the music is creating reality too. I agree. I believe that 100%. Cool. Let's bring it on over to Mike. Mike, share a little bit more about you and your background and maybe your favorite drink.
Okay, now you're talking. Okay, so I'm Mike Meyer. I'm the Director of Business Development for Element. My history is like over 40 years mainly in the software industry. I started coding back when computers were paper tape and 8K of core was a lot of memory. And I progressed from there, drifted into the business side of the software business, mainly worked for international companies. I won't bore you with a blow-by-blow description. My last 9 to 5, I was corporate vice president of SAP. And after a while, I kind of got sick of the corporate life. So I took early retirement and started kind of working with startups in various capacities as an angel investor, as a mentor, advisor. Daniel, I know for a few years now. And one day he called me and he said, I've seen this great technology at the university. And he showed me the technology. And on the spot, I decided to retire from my retirement and join the company as the business development person. And yes, my favorite drink, as you allude to, is beer, but hey, that's another story.
I love it. So I heard from the scientists how they kind of got started and how they won a competition. And that's kind of how people started to see about what they had been building in the lab. And now we've heard how Mike kind of got started in here. Daniel, I still haven't heard, and I'm eager to hear. How did you find out about what these guys were doing in the lab? Walk us through that.
Well, actually, they called me over the phone, and they told me, please come and see. And this was the way, the connection was made. I mean, simply as that.
Was it like an immediate, like, wow, this is amazing?
Yeah. Eventually, what they are doing is they are solving the most difficult, the most difficult issue that we are dealing in the hardware of AR glasses. Yeah. The biggest restriction, which is the cultural restriction. People don't want to wear ridiculous devices on their face. And as simple as that, okay? So because you walk in the street, this is part of your personality. And allowing to create, to make any kind of glasses, as I wear, Mike wear, you wear, and those to come AR capable, this is something that it's extraordinary. I mean, it's it's what we are waiting for that for many years. So yes, I was really excited.
Yeah, same with me. Immediately after meeting you and seeing what the solution was, I was like, this is revolutionary. And I really love not only just the technology, but also this sort of this like business model, whereas everybody else that's building the AR glasses, they're building every single part of it. Everything, like they're building out the product as a whole piece. And essentially what we are allowing is any type of glasses maker, retailer to be able to build that augmented reality. Now that is how you actually push an industry forward. So that's why I got super excited. Now, here are going to be some like a little bit more diving deep into some of the challenges that we are currently seeing, with taking the product out of the lab and into the engineering integrations, because we're going to be needing so many partners. So I guess maybe both of you can jump in here. What are some of the challenges that we see now, and maybe some of the challenges we may be seeing in the future? And what are some of the ways that we can start to overcome those?
Mike, you want to answer?
Look, we are now working really with some of the major brand names in the world. We have really done no marketing. Somehow they've heard about us and they've contacted us, and some are actually coming to visit us next month in Israel. Like any project, to take technology out of a lab and into mass production is a challenge. Okay, no doubt about it. We are talking with some metal surface manufacturers, and we hope that in the next 2 or 3 months, we can prove that what we can produce in a laboratory on a small scale, we can also produce on an industrial scale in plants. Okay, so that's from a hardware point of view. Now, if you look at the AR market today, it's like $20 billion. Okay, and it's projected to grow to like $80 billion in 5 years. That's like a 30% growth rate. And there's some really great applications out there, but they're all, 90% of them are based on your smartphone. Retail, education, repair, maintenance, medical. Okay, so what we want to do is, once we have seed units available, and we're looking at like a 12, 15-month window, to approach a lot of the software developers and get them to transform the application from phone into the glasses. And I'm sure that they can think of applications which we haven't thought of, and the wow effect will be just amazing, that through your most sensitive organ, okay, your eyes, you can see things that you want to see when you want to see it, in a natural way, and not having to pick up your phone and stick your face in the phone. So that's really the way we see it.
I think that, I see 3 different challenges to overcome. The first challenge is the technology. As Mike said, it's always a challenge to bring technology from the lab to the mass production facility. But I'm not concerned about that. We know how to do that, and I think that this is not our main concern. The second component is the use case and the contents. You need to have, enough contents and enough services for people to, to start using it from the very beginning and be efficient enough. A new gadget with new possibilities. The third component, which is the real hard component, is the cultural acceptance. Because eventually what we are doing is modifying the way people see the real world, because we are superimposing new contents, new information, and it sounds like, okay, so what's about it? But eventually, this is, I think, the main challenge for people to get, to want to use this, to be able to understand this new reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it has something to do also, with music, because 100 years ago, you could hear music also only if you had a radio in your house. And 200 years ago, you could hear music only if you had an instrument to play, or somebody playing for you. And about 50 years ago, there was a new technology allowing you to put headphones and walk in the street with music, carrying the music with you. And this was extremely, extremely innovative. Mm-hmm. And a short story, a couple of years ago, just before the corona started, the corona crisis started, I was traveling in the Sahara Desert in Morocco. And I met these people, living in the desert, and I, for the first time, to one of them, we had, they spoke some French. And so for the first time, I put headphones in her ears and played rock and roll. And he was so shocked. He threw it away and just ran away and came back just the next day. So this is something that we take for granted, but it's not. It's nothing for granted. Putting glasses to people, mm-hmm. and letting them to see a new kind of reality, integrating digital information into the real world. It's not for granted. This is, I think this is the main barrier, mm-hmm. the cultural barrier, the cognitive barrier, the psychology barrier.
I think that, the cultural also comes along with the other questions of, like protection, data protection, privacy, like a lot of that actually comes into play too. So that lumps under that cultural acceptance as well. Very interesting. Now I want to,
yeah. And therefore, just to add something, and therefore it's so much important that the glasses will be, as the glasses as already, yeah. And not something new. Because this is part of the obstacle. Having something in your face that you know how to put it, you know how to carry it, you know how to use it. Nothing new there. This is extremely important.
Yeah, like I have a pair of like these massive like hardware glasses that I've been trying to play with for the past week. Keeps falling off my face, heavy. And I always think like, when will we get to that point when somebody's walking around saying, "Where are my glasses?" And we'll be able to say, "Hey, they're on your head," because they're so lightweight. Yeah. I freak out when I lose my phone. I'm like, "Where's my phone?" And it's like in my hand. So, I think when we get to the point when people start doing that, we would, that's our like tipping point. We know we've done our good job.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
Cool. So I want to